just heard banging. I'm sorry.
Being alone in the dark can be unsettling. But what happens when you come face to face with something or someone you wish you'd never met? Tonight, we're diving into 6 of the most disturbing videos ever caught on camera. Let's delve straight into the first disturbing video. It was April 16, 2023, just past midnight, when Jacob was jolted awake by a strange noise outside his room. His heart pounded as he lay there, trying to convince himself that it was nothing. But as the sounds continued, growing louder and more distinct, fear took over. Jacob owned something most people wouldn't dare keep in their home, a creepy clown doll named Jeffery. Jeffery had once belonged to Jacob's grandmother, but to him, the doll was nothing short of terrifying. Uncomfortable with its eerie presence, Jacob kept it locked away in a separate room, as far from him as possible. But on this particular night, something happened that made him question everything. As Jacob lay frozen in bed, the noises continued. A loud bang echoed through the house, followed by a series of unsettling sounds. Then, a chilling realization hit him. The sounds were coming from the very room where Jeffery was kept. Jacob, trembling, mustered the courage to get up and investigate. And that's when something terrifying happened.
I just heard banging.
As he reached the door, the atmosphere felt thick, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. But before he could even step inside, a sudden noise from downstairs made him whip around. His eyes darted toward the staircase. The creaking sound of footsteps slowly ascending sent a wave of panic through him. But as he stared into the darkness, there was no one there. Then, the door behind him creaked open. Jacob quickly turns around, only to see the door slowly creaking open, revealing Jeffery. But something is wrong. The clown's head, which had been facing the wall just moments ago, is now turned toward the door, staring directly at him. Panic takes over. Jacob immediately ends the video and locks himself in his room for the rest of the night, too terrified to step outside. By morning, he is absolutely certain Jeffery is haunted. Fearing that it might happen again, or that something even worse could occur, Jacob makes a final decision. Jeffery must go to the basement.
Another update. You know, I think I'm definitely gonna be moving Jeffrey. Like, with whatever happened last night, I don't want him near me. I'm gonna be putting him in the basement, so I'm gonna follow up. This is the results so far. I'm gonna leave him here for now, but I think I'm gonna put a camera here. Jeffrey's still here, so we're gonna see if there's anything I miss.
He carried the doll to the basement, far away from the rest of the house. But this time, he wasn't taking any chances. Jacob set up a security camera in front of the doll. If anything moved, he would know immediately. For a few nights, nothing unusual happened. But then, a notification popped up on Jacob's phone. Motion detected. His stomach dropped. He opened the live feed. At first, he wasn't too alarmed. He quickly realized the camera was shifting from side to side because it was placed on top of a heater with a built-in timer. The heater had simply turned on, causing the camera to move. Relieved, Jacob let out a breath. But then, something happened that made his blood run cold. As the camera continued to pan from side to side, Jeffrey's arm suddenly moved. There was no draft. No one was in the basement. Yet, the doll's arm lifted slightly, on its own. Jacob's breath hitched. He barely had time to process what he had just seen when the light bulb in the basement exploded. In an instant, the entire room was swallowed in darkness. And then, a whisper. A low, eerie voice muttered something indistinguishable. Jacob sat frozen, staring at the screen, pulse racing. Nothing else happened after that. But what had already occurred was more than enough to make up his mind. From that night forward, Jeffrey stayed locked in the basement. The camera remains in place, watching, just in case the doll moves again. But so far, there have been no further updates from Jacob. What really happened in that basement? Was this just a series of eerie coincidences? Or did Jacob capture proof of something truly paranormal? Until he decides to share more, this video remains a mystery. Did you find this encounter unsettling already? Then brace yourself for what you're about to see next. Quick interruption. If you're enjoying this video, why not hit that subscribe button? We're on a mission to hit 150,000 subscribers, and when we do, 3 lucky fans will win a free item of their choice from our merch store. Right now, 73.6% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. It's completely free, and your support helps us make even more awesome videos. So, don't miss out. Subscribe, and let's get back to the video. On June 4th, 2024, a man named Axel Loa recorded something deeply unsettling inside a public restroom. At first, there was nothing unusual, just another quiet moment in an empty space. But as Axel was about to leave, he heard strange noises coming from one of the stalls. Confused, he checked every stall, but they were all empty. Still, the noises continued. Feeling uneasy, Axel decided to pull out his phone and start recording. What he captured left him, and countless viewers, terrified.
No, te quiero que vean. Estoy ahorita en el baño de la universidad. Pero el pedo ahorita es que acabo de terminar de hacer el baño. Y pues estaba todo normal. pero ahorita están ruidos raros y se está tocando la puerta, pero quiero que vean que pues no hay nada. Vean, ahí está mi reflejo, pero vean de este lado, pues aquí no hay nada. Vean, acá tampoco, vean, aquí tampoco hay nada, aquí pues tampoco, vean. Y acá el lugar es bastante pequeño y está mi reflejo, pero vean, hoy escucharon. ¿Escucharon? No hay nada.
At first, all we hear are loud banging sounds, enough to send a chill down anyone's spine. But then, something even more horrifying happens. For a split second, a face appears inside one of the stalls, the very stall that had been empty just moments before. It happens so quickly that at first it's easy to miss, but once you notice it, you can't unsee it. A pale face with wide, lifeless eyes stares directly into the camera, before vanishing without a trace. Axel didn't notice it at the time. It was only after reviewing the footage that he saw what was hiding behind the door. Like many of the viewers who later watched the video, he was left shaken. Was this just a trick of the light? A glitch in the camera? Or did Axel accidentally capture something that was never meant to be seen? Since the incident, Axel hasn't spoken much about what happened. There have been no updates, no further explanations. But even without any additional context, the video alone is terrifying enough. But what if it's not happening somewhere else? But instead, strange things are happening in your own home. Let's see it unfold in the next video. This next video comes from a man whose entire home is filled with Bibles and religious artifacts. Every day, he dedicates himself to prayer and worship, often sitting at his piano, playing songs based on Bible verses. His apartment is more than just a living space. It's a sanctuary of faith. At first glance, you might think he's simply a devout man. And while that's partly true, the real reason he spends so much time praying has nothing to do with devotion, and everything to do with fear. His life took a terrifying turn after visiting his father's gravesite. Since that day, he has been convinced that something followed him home. An unseen presence, one that fills him with dread. Desperate to protect himself, he has intensified his prayers, playing religious songs more than ever before, hoping that his faith alone can banish the evil that now lingers in his home. But despite his efforts, things only get worse. One afternoon, while taking a nap, he is startled awake by a loud noise coming from the living room. Grabbing his phone, he begins to record.
Bueno, estoy grabando este video porque estoy tratando de dormir, pero acabo de escuchar un golpe duro por allá en la sala, entonces decidí grabar porque hace días que se viene presentando cosas extrañas en el apartamento. Son las 4 y cuarto, 4:13 minutos de la tarde, entonces me parece muy extraño que hasta ahora están sucediendo como cosas raras. Entonces, comedor. Miren, ese es mi comedor. Tengo las ventanas cerradas, miren. Esto viene sucediendo hace como una semana ya. Pues la verdad se me hace muy extraño. Se me hace muy extraño que estén pasando cosas así.
As he cautiously enters the room, his heart pounds. The camera captures a set of eating utensils swinging back and forth, as if a strong breeze had passed through. But there's just one problem. Every window is shut. A chill runs down his spine. Something is in the room with him. But as unsettling as this was, the next incident would be far worse. A few days later, he uploads a new video, and this time he looks genuinely distressed.
En el nombre de Jesús te ordeno que te vayas. En el nombre de Jesús ordeno que te vayas. No tienes derecho de estar aquí. Ordeno que te vas. Ordeno que te vas en el nombre de Jesús.
Appearing fed up with the spirit, he finally confronts it, demanding that it leave his home immediately. For a moment, there is silence. Then, a single piano key is pressed by something unseen. The moment he hears the eerie note, he bolts from the room in terror. At this point, it's clear something is provoking him. But whatever this entity is, it isn't done yet. 4 days later, another terrifying event unfolds. It's 3 a.m. The man and his girlfriend who was staying the night are startled awake by strange noises. Then, this happens.
Bueno, voy a grabar este video porque nuevamente se están escuchando en el apartamento ruidos. Son las 3 de la mañana con 16 minutos y...
Escucha.
Sí, amor, sí se escucha. Es en la sala.
Sí. Escucha.
Esta vez no estoy solo, esta vez estoy con mi novia que por fin decidió venir a acompañarme, pues estaba asustada debido a todas estas cosas que están pasando. ¿Dónde es eso, amor?
La cocina.
¿Qué fue eso?
Se cayó.
Yo voy a mirar. ¿Qué es aquí, amor? ¿Qué es aquí?
Amor.
Señor bendito. Amor, quédese acá, quédese acá. Yo voy solo, amor.
Yo.
Prenda la luz, prenda la luz. Todo tranquilo por acá. En el nombre de Jesús, manifiéstate. Parece que es en la cocina. En el nombre de Jesús, manifiéstate. Vaya para el cuarto, amor.
No.
¿Qué fue eso? ¿Estás viendo, amor? ¿Estás viendo? Es en la cocina, amor. Cuidado con la cocina. Manifiéstate en el nombre de Jesús. Te ordeno que te manifiestes. ¿Qué fue lo que sonó así ahorita, amor?
La cocina.
Mierda. Mira, amor, mira. Las que mentiras, amor. Es un vaso. Es un vaso. Y mira, todos los cajones están abiertos. ¿Qué es lo que pasa aquí, Dios mío? Amor.
Wind chimes move on their own. The kitchen is in chaos. Drawers pulled open. Objects scattered. Yet, according to the man, there were no signs of forced entry. Even more disturbing, his girlfriend suddenly falls ill minutes after the incident. Was it a coincidence? Or was the spirit to blame? While still trying to process what had just happened, the worst encounter was yet to come. Once again, in the middle of the night, the man is woken up by an ominous sound. He grabs his phone to record. And then, it happens. Without warning, the sound of footsteps charging full speed fills the room, rushing straight toward him. Then, something attacks him. An invisible force slams into him, sending a shock of terror through his body. Frozen, he stands in silence, trying to process what just happened. And then, he ends the video. Despite all of these terrifying encounters, one question lingers among viewers. Why doesn't he turn on the lights? Some speculate that it's to add suspense to his videos, but according to him, there's a much darker reason. The light switches for most of the rooms are located near the main entrance, an area he is too afraid to approach. So instead, he prays. Day and night, he reads passages from the Bible, hoping that his faith will banish whatever haunts him. But with each new incident, it seems that this presence isn't leaving anytime soon. And that will be the same by the person in the next terrifying video. At around 2:30 in the morning, a man named Zark films himself reacting to online videos, something he has done many times before. However, unlike his previous reaction videos, this one captures something that leaves him utterly terrified. This isn't the first time Zark has experienced something strange in his home. Those who have followed his videos may remember the eerie occurrences his family encountered in their old apartment. From small pets mysteriously turning up dead the day after being brought home to clocks on the walls inexplicably stopping despite being recently replaced, Zark has had his fair share of unsettling experiences. But nothing compares to what happens after he moves into his new home. Just weeks after settling in, he begins to experience the same bizarre occurrences that plagued his previous apartment.
So I hope you can see the clock is stuck. It's most probably a battery fault, but two clocks going at the same time, it's obviously is very suspicious.
एक मिनट भाई.
Despite moving out, nothing has changed. Clocks suddenly stop working, pets die under mysterious circumstances, and, most disturbingly, the doorbell rings when no one is at the door. At first, Zark considers the possibility that someone is playing a prank. However, what happens only a few nights later makes the doorbell incident even more unsettling. Late at night, Zark captures something chilling. As he moves through his home, the keys hanging from his door suddenly begin to sway on their own. Initially, he assumes a draft must have caused the movement, but after checking, he finds that all windows are shut. There is no airflow, no logical explanation. The keys seem to have moved by themselves. Feeling unnerved, he tries his best to ignore the incident. But only a few days later, things take a much darker turn. One night, Zark is filming a reaction video in his living room. It is well past midnight, and he expects to be completely alone. Little does he know that someone, or something, is about to interrupt his recording.
Oh, there's the white shadow.
Suddenly, a loud, forceful bang shakes the door. The sound jolts Zark with fear, causing him to slowly back away, his mind racing. Is it an intruder? Something more sinister? He cautiously checks, but just like before, there's no one there. In a follow-up video, Zark openly expresses how much these experiences have affected him.
You know, the ghost is not scary. They just f your life up. You see, the worst part of the haunting is not the activity which happens at night or any noise disturbance or I'm sorry.
Clearly, these strange occurrences have taken a toll on his mental health. He can't shake the feeling that something from his old apartment has followed him to his new home. No matter where he goes, the activity persists, and it only seems to be getting worse. For a short period, everything appears to calm down. But then, one night, the most disturbing event yet is caught on camera. Zark is abruptly woken up by knocking at his door. Sluggish and wary, he grabs his phone and cautiously approaches to capture what's happening. Then, he hears something that makes his blood run cold.
Can you please stop it?
It's his child's voice. His son is calling out to him from the other side of the door. But when Zark checks his son's room, he finds him fast asleep in bed. If his child was in his room the entire time, then who, or what, was mimicking his voice? Like the previous incidents, Zark is completely baffled. He continues documenting every strange occurrence, hoping that someone can help him and his family. But based on his recent videos, it seems no real answers have come. So the question remains, what exactly is happening in Zark's home? To this day, he has no definitive explanation. For now, let's delve straight into the next shocking encounter. On a Wednesday afternoon, a man rushes to his basement to record something that just happened. He explains that he had just heard footsteps on the staircase, which immediately struck him as strange. No one else had been in the basement. Wanting to capture the unexplained activity that often occurs when no one is down there, he begins recording. What happens next is nothing short of terrifying.
Oh my! What are you doing there? Who are you?
I got you good.
Oh yes, you did. Oh, you got my heart good.
Out of nowhere, a toy ball suddenly hurls itself toward the man. The unexpected movement is so startling that he immediately shuts the door and stops recording. What happened after that remains unknown, but based on the few details provided, it's clear that the man and his family have since avoided the basement entirely. Although the footage lacks extensive context, the video alone is enough to send chills down anyone's spine. The question remains, was this a coincidence or something far more sinister? It will remain a mystery. Did you find these 5 videos unsettling? Then brace yourself for the last disturbing video. On the night of March 5th, 2024, a young girl lay wide awake, long past her bedtime. While the rest of the house slept, she remained in her room, immersed in her imaginary world, happily playing with her toys. But what was supposed to be another night of innocent playtime turned into something else entirely. According to the child's mother, the family has been on edge ever since they reviewed the footage from their daughter's security camera. At around 11 p.m., the camera captured something disturbing.
Can I play with you? Hey, can you play with me? Sure, I'll play with you. Go ahead and play. Yeah. Bling, bling, bling. Bling, bling, bling. Bling, yum, doo, doo. What's going on? Let's go. Let's go.
At first, everything seemed normal. The little girl played, humming softly to herself. Then, one of her toys lit up on its own. As if that wasn't eerie enough, the toy began playing the exact same song the girl had been humming, perfectly in sync. Moments later, something even more unsettling happened. The child was suddenly dragged under the bed. Her movement was unnaturally smooth. almost as if an invisible force had pulled her beneath. The sight of this left the family shaken. Was something lurking under the bed? And more importantly, was it trying to lure her? Deeply disturbed by what she saw, the mother wasted no time. She locked the room immediately, refusing to let her daughter step foot inside again. But just a few days later, she mustered up the courage to go back inside.
So I've been getting a lot of questions. People have been asking me, have you been in the room? Have you guys looked under the bed? No, we haven't. We haven't been in the room in the last 2 days. We've been a little scared. This scared right now. Oh my God.
As she lifted the covers and checked underneath, her heart pounded. But what she found was far worse than she had imagined. Tucked beneath the mattress, hidden just out of sight, was a doll. A creepy-looking doll she had never seen before. She grabbed her phone and began recording. But as she focused on the doll, it moved. At first, it was barely noticeable, but on closer inspection, its head shifted, ever so slightly. It was as if it knew it was being watched. The mother panicked. Without hesitation, she bolted out of the room, locking the door behind her. Since that night, the room has remained locked. The mother has continued to post updates, sharing her thoughts on the chilling events that have unfolded in her home. But despite everything, one question remains unanswered. What exactly pulled her daughter under the bed that night? Until they find the truth, this mystery remains unsolved. But as always, what do you think? Paranormal or not? You be the judge. That's all for today, folks. If you want to see more of this creepy content, click on the video on screen.